Hello YouTube, it's been a few days since I've posted, so I'm sitting here right now in Dumas, Texas, and I figured I would just make a short video. I figured today, since just starting out with the channel, tell you a little bit about my work history, at least in trucking. What I was in the military. I don't really talk about that. Yeah, I started driving a truck about 2008, 2009. I started out with Swift. Swift, of all things. I mean, I know so many acronyms for Swift. I know that they've had their fair share of controversies, to say the least. But to be honest, I can say amazing things about Swift, at least at the start. While there was other companies that make you sign away your life and everything, I started out with Swift. I didn't have any strings attached to it. Just basically, I went to San Antonio. I was with their last class in San Antonio. It was old Central Yard. I think they still have it. I still remember my teacher, Mr. Humphreys. He was Texas as you can get. There was, when we started out, there was like 60 something students in there. By the third day we were down to 10. So many students, I was freaking out. 10 students after the third day. It went people lying on the drug test, people couldn't pass a drug test, people lying on their work history, just numerous things. There was one guy that was even wanted in there. So like by the third day there was 10 of us. There was 7 of us that graduated. I still remember Mr. Humphreys. I was the only one that knew how to drive a manual transmission. So yeah, basically between the 10 of us there was 4 trucks, so we had plenty of time to just drive around, have a good time. Yeah, I still remember it. I have an amazing experience starting out. Now, don't get it wrong, I started out at, I think 15 or 16 cents per mile. So they definitely made their money off of me. It was just a different environment. Everything was new. There was still a lot of old timers out here. I still learned a lot after school. When I got out of the school, my mentor, I was scared to death because I heard so many horror stories, but my mentor, he was a retired Army guy. Basically, we just kicked it for like 3 months, which I feel like 3 months should be what everybody nowadays should go through. 3 months I still wasn't ready to be on the road, to be honest. Driving, yes, I could drive from day one, but knowing the rules, knowing the ins and outs, knowing how to deal with certain customers, maneuvering a vehicle into tight spots, just 3 months, just it was bare minimum. I hear people going out in 2 weeks. I don't understand it. But I had an amazing time my first year. By the end of the first year, I think I was to 28 cents a mile. And then I went to Schneider. Schneider offered 34 cents a mile. I was like, let me try something new. And that was a great pay raise. So I jumped ship. Tried something new. I stayed there for a little while and loved it. I even bought my first truck with Schneider. Back then they were switching pay systems after I think I was there for 2-3 years, and I bought my first truck. They were switching pay systems and I didn't get a paycheck for like 4 months. I tried to hold out. They basically starved me out of the truck. Up until that point, it was amazing. amazing. Great time with Schneider. Love the people I worked with. That time I was out of Laredo. My dispatcher, I think his name was Marcus, something like that. After that, I went to work for a company called Regco. It was a Laredo company. The guy, he was cartel. I mean, just cartel as you can be. I didn't care as long as I got a paycheck. Didn't do nothing illegal. Basically, he needed American drivers. I was already there. He asked me if I wanted to work for him. It's good money. I think it went up to 42 cents. And I mean, take into account every place else at that time was paying, I think, about 36 cents. So I mean, it was substantially more. We went to Freightliner, Dodge it. I don't know how you say that word, but it's a Dodge Freightliner in Laredo. Basically, he said pick out a truck. I picked out the truck I wanted. It was a 2014 Cascadia. It was a 10-speed twin turbo. I can't remember if it was a DD15 or DD13. I don't remember the engine. I just remember it had twin turbo, and that's the only truck I've ever had that had twin turbo. A lot of people hate it. I loved it. I mean, I guess it's all in the tuning. And I do remember that company, they would buy fuel. They had a tank over there off of Mines Road. If you know Laredo, you know where Mines Road is. They had a tank over there that held probably 20,000 gallons. I mean, it was huge. I don't know where they were buying their fuel, but he made sure that we had 180 gallon tanks on each side. They were massive. I mean, they were probably 6 foot long. I could literally fill up in Laredo, make it all the way to St. Cloud, Minnesota, and halfway down to Laredo, and then we put like 50 gallons in to get us the rest of the way. So I didn't mind. I made good money. Showers at that time was pretty cheap, so I think at that time showers was like $5, and I remember Scales was like $7.50. So I didn't mind paying for a shower. I mean, I still got 50 gallons. I could make it to St. Cloud, Minnesota, and back. I was on paper log. I could do that in 2-3 days. Get a shower, come back to the yard, drop the trailer, grab another trailer, and go. Never had any problem. But there was a B1 driver. He hit and killed a family in Louisiana, and basically DOT came in, he wanted that driver's logbook. Well, that driver, or the safety guy, his name was not Fernando. I don't know. He was a little slow. I mean, I'm not knocking anybody that's slow, but he was a little slow. When DOT came in there, they asked for that driver's logbook. He gave him the whole company's logbooks. It was me and a buddy named Scott. We were the only 2 American drivers that he had. All the rest were B1. It took DOT an hour to basically pull the DOT number. When I got a call, I was on my way down to Laredo, and basically they told me to stop. I think I was in Dallas. They told me to stop until they figure stuff out. I was like, dude, I got enough fuel. I just went. Got to Laredo. My buddy Scott, he was stuck in Beaumont. They shut his truck off. My buddy Francisco was stuck in Pecos, Texas. They shut his truck off. I don't know why they didn't shut off my truck. I don't know if because my truck was one of the first ones they bought, they couldn't shut it off or something. I don't know. But yeah, basically that company closed down. I did the Laredo Shuffle for a little while. I don't like jumping jobs. I really don't. But if you work for small companies, especially along the border, sadly, you know what the Laredo Shuffle is. And I'm still working for a company on the border. We'll just leave it at that. I don't try to talk bad about companies. I mean, it's my choice to be here. I try to stay as positive as I can because it's my choice to be here. I can leave. I don't know when. I don't know where. I'm just trying to find that dream company, that greener grass. It's not always there. So keep that in mind before you go to another company. Did that for a while. Went to work for John Christner Trucking. John Christner Trucking. I made it 3 weeks. No, 3 months. I'm sorry, I'm lying. 3 months. Basically, bought a truck through them, lease purchase. All my money went to them. If you look at a John Christner Trucking, there's 4 numbers. It'll say, I think L, which stands for lease, 4 numbers, and then there will be a letter in the alphabet. That letter correlates to how many people have bought that truck. So if you got letter A, you're the second person that buys that truck because the first one doesn't have a letter. So if you're letter C, you're the 4th person to buy that truck. So, and go so forth and so forth. I've seen letter Y before. But that company, I made it 3 weeks. Basically, I got the truck from Sapulpa, Oklahoma. I made it down to the Pilot. Is it a Pilot or Flying J right there in Oklahoma City? Anyway, I stopped there. It's either Pilot or Flying J. I stopped to get fuel. I get fuel and I go inside. I get my receipt. I come back out. And I already pulled forward. Don't get me wrong. I'm not one of these people that like to sit in the fuel lane. I pulled forward, come back out. Somebody hit the hood of my truck. Now they have these bull guards on there, so it didn't do a massive damage, but it did some damage. I called them up. I'm like telling them the scenario, and they said, "Well, I hope it didn't do any damage because your insurance don't take an effect until the next day." And I said, "So why you let me leave?" So that was a whole fiasco. But basically, what was going on there was you are glorified company driver with forced dispatch. I was taking loads from Sapulpa, Oklahoma to California. Then I would sit 2 or 3 days waiting for them to get me a load back to Dallas or Texas area. And I'd sit for 2 or 3 days and go back. I live in Houston. They weren't getting me home. Not only were they not getting me home, I wasn't making no money. All the money I was making was going to their trucks. So I made it 3 months from there. And then I went back to Laredo companies. I've done oversize out of Laredo. I've done RGN, stretched RGN, flatbed, stretched flatbed. Oh my God, what's that? It's a 6-axle high tonnage trailer. I did that for a couple of weeks before they took that trailer away from me and another driver crashed it, so didn't get to do that no more. That was one of the funnest experiences that I ever had. I missed that. Then I went to work for Mercer. I've never worked for Landstar. When I first started trucking, Landstar was the pinnacle of owner-operators. They had the trucks with the super sleepers. They had everything. I mean, the best loads, the best drivers. It was what trucking should have been. But now it went downhill. And when I bought my truck through Lone Mountain, I had a decision, Landstar or Mercer. I chose Mercer. I'm glad I chose Mercer because Landstar has a reputation now of just using drivers. All the good loads get brokered out and their drivers starve. There's no secret into that industry. I mean, it's pretty widely known, and if you don't know, do some research. Mercer. I loved Mercer. I thought I found my forever company. I loved Mercer. I love the people there. I met so many nice people. I would go to Louisville, Kentucky, just polish my truck, talk to everybody. I mean, I remember there was guys that they'd bring their wives. They would cook huge meals almost every day. We go into the driver's lounge. Somebody be cooking it up. Somebody order food. I would hook up with somebody. We'd go out, go eat. I loved Mercer. Mercer has probably the best environment that I ever had. I mean, I loved Mercer. I didn't like the safety guy. Me and the safety guy did not get along. Basically, I think I was there for like a month, and I was going down across 83 in almost the Eagle Pass. There's a pilot there, right? And I was going to go get fuel. So I went to the pilot. I was getting fuel, and this cop pulled up behind me. And this cop, he got out, and he said, you're not on a truck route. I'm like, what do you mean I'm not on a truck route? I've been coming this way for 10 plus years at that time. It is a truck route, and it's still a truck route to this day. And he's like, I don't want to hear it. He gave me a warning for not being on a truck route. A warning. Because I showed him on the map. It is a truck route. He said, I don't want to hear it. Gave me a warning. I'm like, okay. Nothing you can do about a warning. If a cop tries to give you a warning, literally tell him, give me a ticket. I'll fight it in court. It's better than a warning. Warnings, a lot of new drivers out there don't realize that with the warnings, you still accumulate points. So I took my warning to, I think his name was Lynn. I can't stand this guy. He's probably still there, so if anybody hearing it, you can tell him that there's somebody that don't like him. But I took it to him, and basically he's like, well, you got a warning. So warnings are a massive deal with Mercer, and I tried to tell him that I was on a truck route. I showed him on the map, everything. He didn't care. He didn't listen at all. Did not care. Basically, if you got a warning, you were guilty in his eyes, regardless of the facts. So basically, after that, didn't really talk to him. I tried to avoid him, everything. And I think I was there for about a year. And my buddy, he was working back at Schneider. And he had, I think, 5 trucks on at Schneider. And he wanted to start his own... oh my god, what do they call that? Mini fleets or something like that. He wanted to start his own mini fleet. And he begged me and begged me and begged me to come over there. And I was like, dude, I'm doing pretty good over here at Mercer. I don't want to go. But he was a friend of mine from the military. I'm pretty loyal to my friends. I've actually lost a couple of great jobs because of friends. And some I regret to this day. This is probably one of them. But I said, okay, I'll go. I took off my plates. I already did all the paperwork. I was hired on. Did all the paperwork. I went into Mercer, and I talked to the safety lady. Lynn wasn't there because I didn't want to talk to Lynn. Talked to the safety lady, and I gave her my ELD, my license plate, everything, and I told her that I was about to leave in about an hour, because I was still trying to say goodbye to some people I knew. And about 30 minutes go past, and I get a call from safety, and they said, you need to come in and sign some papers. I'm like, okay. I've already quit at this time, so I'm like, all right, maybe they just want some formalities or something. I go in there, and Lynn was in there, and he said, well, you didn't quit, we fired you. I'm like, how do you want to play that? because I've already quit. I mean, you've already got your license plate, your ELD. I've already been hired on to another company. And all this. Anyway, so he said, "You're fired." I'm like, dude, okay, whatever. I mean, however you want to word it, you word it. I mean, I've already got another job, so no big deal. So after that, I left, and then I contacted the company I was going on to. And they said, well, we need to know how it was worded. And they pulled it up on their little thing, however they did it. I don't know. But he worded it as, I was let go, or they fired me because I was an unsafe driver. I'm like, but I never got a ticket. How am I an unsafe driver? And yeah, that cost me another job. I went to a company out of Pennsylvania called Ray Logistics. Horrible reputation. Do not go work there. They always paid me. I'm not gonna say nothing bad about them. They had a horrible reputation. You can do your own research. I worked there for a while. Truck broke down. Finally, I was out of the owner-operator game. I went to work for this company. Worked here for a while, and then I went to work for Hunt Transportation out of Omaha. I love them. They are great people to work for. I mean, you get a good reputation with them. They're good to work for. I don't have anything bad to say about Hunt. I was on their case account. All I did was case New Holland. Great company. I know I say a lot. Just sorry. Hope it don't bug you. But after that, did that for a long time, and then they basically lost their case account. Drivers were late. Drivers didn't show up. They didn't buy new RGNs. A lot of things that is above my pay grade, and that's just what I heard. So once they lost their case account, I tried to do it for a little bit, and then my buddy was working at CRST, and he's like, "Great, come here, come to CRST. There's a bad reputation, but on the owner-operator side, I don't have any problems." Which I didn't. When I went over there, the truck, I'm not going to go into the whole ordeal with the truck, but you don't get to pick a truck. If they try to tell you get to pick a truck, you don't. You tell them what year you want, and they're like, well, we find you one. They ship me off to Cincinnati to get one from Birmingham. Then I went to the shop immediately after because there was so many problems. But after I got the bugs worked out, literally bugs because there was cockroaches. But after I got the bugs worked out, I didn't talk to anybody. I literally picked off the load board. I had friends that are agents. I still have friends that I still talk to that are agents over there. Get in good with the agents. Do not make them mad. If you make them mad, you're done. Most drivers that don't make money at CRST are the drivers that go home every week, or they've made an agent mad. Peggy Rivers, I think Peggy Rivers, you make her mad, is done. Yeah, they all talk to each other whether they say they do or they don't. But I loved it there. I mean, I make pretty good money. Had a couple of breakdowns, but in July or June, the rates just plummeted. I was paying out of pocket, paying out of savings to do that, and yeah. Then in September, it was done. I turned in the truck. They canceled my contract. They turned in the truck. Still dealing with some stuff with that because charges. But I came back to Syntex company I worked for before. Wrong move. I'll just leave it at that. Wrong move. But trying to make the best out of a bad situation. This is not my forever company. Yeah, just hoping this year brings some good things, and then I can really try to go to a company that's forever. I worked for a couple of companies that were great companies that could have been forever. different things. I mean, one of them that was amazing, they went bankrupt, closed down. Other one that was really good, they screwed over my friend. I mean, again, with the loyalty, my friend, he basically sit a week and then they sent him home. He went home the weekend, spent all his money, came back, and they fired him. They fired him because they said he lost the bill of lading, which he didn't. I was there when he turned in all his bill of ladings. But they fired him, and then I was like, well, being a loyal friend, if they could screw him over, they could screw me over. So I just, at that time, I mean, jobs are a dime a dozen out here. I just turned in my keys. It was a good company. They treated me right. They just screwed him over. Yeah, I mean, there's a couple companies that are good. The grass ain't always greener, but it ain't always sand either. So take that how you will. You got to make your own life choices. I'm not perfect. I mean, my record was great. I've had like 3 tickets in, I don't know, 16, 17 years. 3 tickets. That's pretty good. 2 of them were in a personal car. Yeah, 2 of them were in a personal car. One of them was technicality. They said steep grade, 45 miles an hour. I was bobtail. I did 45 miles an hour. I could see the cop from the top of the hill. Went all the way down. 45 miles an hour. I started going back up the hill. I started speeding up. I was going uphill. Cop pulled up behind me, gave me a ticket. Said I was going 15 over, and I said it's 45 miles an hour down the hill. You saw me. I saw you. We saw each other. Made eye contact. And he's like, yeah, but what the sign don't say is 45 miles an hour for trucks for the next 9 miles. And I'm like, well, the sign doesn't say that, so that's not law. And he's like, well, it is today. Gave me a ticket. Called up Maryland. They said, if you pay the tickets, $100, 3 months later, we'll take it off your record. I was like, okay, I don't have to go to court. I don't have to go up there. I did that. 3 months later, I called the courthouse. I was like, hey, I just wanted to make sure it's taken off my record. They started laughing. They said, nope, whoever told you that lied. And they did. It's on my record. Yeah, I mean, never had an overweight ticket. I mean, knock on wood, I don't ever want one. I try to be as professional as I can. I'm of the mindset that you give respect, people will respect you. So I try to be as respectful as I can. I go to customers. There are customers that make me mad. I mean, now that I'm doing reefer here, which will not be very long, I've met some of the most uncultured individuals I've ever met in my life. Disrespectful, like pulling teeth, dealing with some of these drivers and customers. I mean, it's not just the drivers. It's not only the drivers. I mean, we definitely have a training problem in this industry. We definitely have a pay problem in this industry. If we're governed by the hour from the logbook, we should be paid by the hour. We are company drivers. If you're owner operator, I can understand percentage or pay it by mile. As a company driver, we should be paid by the hour. You cannot convince me otherwise. But I don't want to make this video too long. This is my first longest video. There's some stuff I've missed. There's some stuff I intentionally left out. Just not everything's bad. I mean, it's not good to jump companies, but it's also not good to be in somewhere that you're not respected or appreciated. Sadly, on the border, there's too much of that. Yeah, I hope everyone's having a good night. I just wanted to make a video that kind of introduces myself. It gets a little bit more in detail of myself. Hopefully not all of them are this long, and hopefully if you stayed here this long, you learned a little something about me. I hope you subscribe, like I said in my other video, I was trying to build a community. Hopefully I can build a community here. I'm a pretty loyal friend. I try to reach out to people here and there. Some fall out, some fall way out. But I've still got some friends that I've had for my entire driving career. So hope everyone has a good night. Thank you for watching this video. Have a great night.